You may have seen advertisements and celebrity promotions for wellness products that promise to keep you young, beautiful, and fit. But did you know that these wellness products have little to do with your wellness? Welcome to the Wellness Champion Podcast, sponsored by Healthy Transformation Nation. We believe that your health and wellness is determined by your own self-care more than anything else. Join us for each episode when we discover and uncover the keys to self-care in today's complex culture. We enjoy helping others discover the best ways to be well. We'll be visiting the basics for self-care and ongoing wellness that enables you to not only survive, but to thrive. Wellness Champion Podcast. There are so many wellness products and wellness routines out there that you couldn't even count them if you wanted. It is a big opportunity for manufacturers, food producers, doctors, cosmetic companies, and health and beauty companies to grab your attention and sell products. We should really be watching out for the message that we're receiving about these products because they're often trying to tap into desire for wellness. Desire for wellness. But wellness doesn't have much of anything to do with most of what they're talking about and selling. Mm. You know, I read an article featuring an interview with the actress Rosamund Pike. Mm-hmm. And she was warning us all about the messaging from the wellness industry and how it is dangerous, that they are trying to control us through the concept of youth, beauty, and fitness. Mm-hmm. And so I agree on one part, right, that the messaging is potentially dangerous. Mm-hmm. But I think she missed the mark. I think that she doesn't have a clear grasp on what wellness is actually. Right. She's not talking about the wellness industry. She's talking about the vanity industry.
Yes.
And she says, and I'm going to quote, "I think we're all being conned by the wellness industry," she said. "This idea that it's no longer enough to be healthy and we have to be well is something that needs to be interrogated. Yet it's so seductive because it's in pursuit of things that people are ashamed to want, like youth, beauty, and fitness." Mm-hmm. And she goes on to say, "Me Too gave women an opportunity to escape from some of the demands put on them. Mm-hmm. Now, in a way, people are voluntarily flocking back to being controlled, but in a different guise, by these wellness claims. It's politicized our food, politicized our exercise, and I think it's really dangerous." And that's end quote. That's what Rosamund Pike has said about it. Mm-hmm. Now, first, I believe that youth, beauty, and fitness has little to do with wellness.
Right, I agree.
You know, and I think that's where she misses the mark. Wellness isn't youth, beauty, or fitness, but it's easy to see how you could equate wellness with those things, mm-hmm, because we tend to associate those things with someone who thrives.
Right.
This, of course, comes from false narratives, mm-hmm, about aging, what is beautiful, and how fit you need to be, right, as an average human.
Right.
Wellness is about something other than youth. Although young people should be taught about wellness, mm-hmm, of course, mm-hmm, other than beauty, although you are beautiful, and it's not about fitness, other than the ability to move and think, react, and take action to survive and thrive. Mm-hmm. It's not about fitness.
At Healthy Transformation Nation, we believe in bio-individuality because we're all different. Yes, celebrate that. We are all different, and we all have choices put before us every single day. We can do something or not. We're completely a choice. The question is, what makes the choice one way or another? We are all unique, and what works for one person in a situation may not work for another. And these industries clump people together for you to buy this or buy that. And it's so confusing and can create anger and sadness in some because you don't fit the quote unquote person they're describing. I know that personally has been very frustrating for me, especially when buying clothing in the past. I've really dealt with that. And it really just felt like I'm never good enough at all. But I'm here to tell you that's not the truth. That is not true. You actually are one of a kind. And when each person starts looking at themselves instead of others, then they can start investing in themselves in a way that's nurturing, compassionate, loving, and kind.
Yeah.
And bio-individuality in the wellness space looks, like I said, looks different for everybody.
Right.
What may work for one person isn't going to work for another. What I do that I love to do, you might not like it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and keep in mind too, that these companies that are offering these products are doing market research.
Absolutely. Targeting.
And so they're targeting based on what their segments say are interested in. And so they will take a group of people and clump them together, like you say,
Yes,
clump them
absolutely.
together into a segment, and they will market to those people based on what their feelings are, their desires.
Right.
And this does not reflect the bio-individuality
No.
of the people within those segments.
Exactly.
Because they're taking a cross-section. And so, absolutely, I mean, I agree with you totally that every one of us is individual, and so we must look at bio-individuality when we are talking about wellness, of course.
Absolutely. And there's so many realms of wellness that come into play that's why it's good to have health coaches and others that are experts in their area of wellness to really look to as guidance, because you can hook up with anybody that's out there that's saying whatever they're saying, but what are they really offering? What are they really telling you? What is the message that they're communicating to you? Are they communicating that you're individual, you're amazing, you are this, that, and the other as far as the individual's needs? No, they're clumping it together like we've talked about. It is not a space that I feel personally is a healthy space, if you will. The vanity industry, because I was very much linked to the vanity for a very long time in my journey of self-discovery. I did that a lot. And now, because I saw this, I'm able to help clients to work through these narratives that we've been told and conditioned and trained to do and to be.
Yeah. So many of those who are claiming to be in the wellness industry are actually in the vanity industry.
Right.
Because they're appealing to the vanity desires, the emotions, and it's supported by marketing for other products. It's supported by other industries. You know, of course, we all know about the modeling industry and how that has just, turned the world upside down in terms of what people's impressions are of, or what people's feelings are about what especially women should look like. You know, another thing that sort of separates the vanity industry from the wellness industry is being in a position to thrive. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
You know, thrive physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Right.
And, I have to say that, Healthy Transformation Nation, these are concepts that we hold near and dear to our hearts in our basic pillars of wellness, right?
Yes, we do.
Which are intentional breathing, hydration, nutrition, intentional movement, and mindset.
Absolutely.
And to thrive physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we need to address all of those things. And as, like we just said, as individuals. But being in a position to thrive means keeping yourself in the best position to be successful if there is an injury or illness. And that is a place where the medical industry has kind of stepped in and sort of taken control of our wellness for us, right?
Yes, absolutely. They're telling us that, take this medication for this, take this for that. And the one thing that I've heard a lot of pharmacists and doctors talk about is that they're being told, like, medicine's kind of the way to go. And how I look at our industry, healthcare industry right now, it's more of just a medicine industry than it is a wellness industry. And that's why doctors and pharmacists are actually bringing health coaches in, because they're finding there's a huge gap that goes from the patient to the doctor. What's all the stuff in between that happens to the point that you're at the last place, I've got to go see the doctor for this problem. What happened in between? Was there any information, education on nutrition and all of the things that we share at Healthy Transformation Nation? Have those things been looked at? Have you looked at your nutrition? Have you looked at your gut? All of the things that health coaches, yes,
right.
and it's actually a natural way of working with your body.
Yeah.
Is doing your own investigation and actually paying attention to the things that are happening in your body, because we are the ones that know our bodies best. That's why bioindividuality comes into play so much. But we know when we're not feeling well, we know when we're feeling very well, or if something is off just slightly, well, what did I do? What's been going on that has created a slight change? And I find that the medical industry is going from, oh, you have a problem? Okay, I have this. Take this for that. And it's actually a disease control, a disease management instead of wellness and coming out from it.
I have observed in the last few years especially that more and more doctors, more and more healthcare professionals are beginning to see that there is a growing gap.
Absolutely.
And I'm very pleased to see that many doctors, physicians, healthcare providers have been addressing that and looking at bioindividuality, and have been seeking out health coaches, like you say,
yes,
and integrating their medical care with other modalities.
Absolutely.
And they're recognizing that, the traditional Western medicine is not the end-all, be-all, but there are other modalities that can work together integratively. And so we have integrative medicine now, integrative health providers, which is a fantastic thing. And I'm so happy to see that happening. Yes.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. And because, wellness has really not a heck of a lot to do with healthcare other than the things that you do for yourself that enables you, empowers you, or gives you better outcomes. So, wellness is not healthcare. Wellness is more like the self-care that you provide to yourself to position you, like I said before, to give you the leg up, so to speak, to position you to be in a better space mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so that you will have a better ability to thrive and survive any illness or injury.
Right.
So that's
I
what
agree
wellness
100%. I know for myself, when I go to see my doctor and he's like, well, medicines you're on, I'm like, I'm not on any medications. And I know that that's actually something very rare.
Yeah.
But that's because I've worked with all of the 5 core values that we promote, and I've really worked hard at those because I want to be able to, like you said, set myself up in a position where I'm going into the doctor's office as well as I possibly can be, as long as I have something to do with it, where I have the control to do that. So that makes their job that much easier. So if something does come up, like you mentioned, well, you've been this way, so what's changed from here to there? Because I'm personally watching and paying attention,
right.
But a lot of people don't know how to do that, and they don't do that. And that's where the health coaches and other modalities come into play and to really assist through that process.
Yeah. And, you and I both can say the same thing about the medications. When I visit my doctor, I'm not on any medications either.
Right.
And that's also rare. I mean, for a 60-year-old man, it's a little unusual. Which is sad to say,
Right.
But, and it's not that I'm opposed to medications. I'm not.
Right.
I think medications can be wonderful in circumstances where they are applied. But again, we are all bioindividual, as we say. And I know that when there is something that I need to address, I'm certainly open to medication, but that all of the things that I am doing for myself right now, the self-care and wellness practices that I engage in right now are putting me in a position where I don't need those medications right now. And if there was something to come up, that maybe those medications, if I did need to take them, wouldn't be as severe, wouldn't be as drastic measures as what sometimes they can be.
Right.
Because as we know, medications can have side effects and things like that. So additionally, another thing that we can say about being in a position to thrive is that beauty and fitness, that vanity industry that addresses beauty and fitness, what does that have to do with, what does beauty and fitness have to do with wellness?
Yeah, I mean, well, the youth, beauty, and fitness, so those three topics, youth is youth. I mean, so I don't know what it has to do with wellness other than, and even our youth, what I think of our youth now, that's another topic for another time, because our youth is not what it used to be with wellness. But moving into the beauty and the fitness industry, I was very, very focused on the beauty and fitness industry for quite some time. I love makeup. I love all of those things, and it's fun. And yes, it gives you a little bit of a boost. That's just to enhance what's already there. Does that really affect my wellness? Maybe mentally it helps ever so slightly just to build a little confidence in the fact that I've put on makeup. So that's fine. But as far as the fitness part of it goes, I think fitness is very important. I think that it is a necessary part where we talk, that's where Healthy Transformation talks about intentional movement.
Right.
And that's
and
very
also
important.
Mindset for mental fitness.
Absolutely. So when you're talking about fitness, we're typically talking about the body. We're really talking about the body and all the exercise programs and all of that stuff. But you're again being told what to do through these programs. You don't know if this program is actually going to work. You're trying and trying and trying different fitness programs to look and achieve what you've been told is acceptable in society, or what you quote unquote desire, which we talked about earlier. And so being around the fitness industry for quite some time, between a lot of challenges I did, I studied for personal training to be a personal trainer. I know that the exercise piece of it is very important, and the importance of moving the body, but all of the programs and all of the things that everyone is being told to do, again, is clumping people together. Because what works for me, where I love to walk a lot, I love to lift weights, may not work for you, where you like to do yoga. And there's the fitness. Where does it get to really catering to the individual's needs, as opposed to the vanity piece of look like this?
Well, yeah, there's the other part too, where, I will see advertisements, on my cell phone. I'll see advertisements come up on my phone, or I'll see advertisements on social media, email, whatever, where they're showing me an image of another man who is, ripped, and he's got, six-pack abs and all that.
Right.
And it's like, and they're telling me that I need to be like that. Mm-hmm. That is fit. Mm-hmm. And what actually that's more than fit. That's ripped.
Right.
And so let's not be fooled by our desire to fit in, or, there's the desire to be like the alpha. Mm-hmm. Let's not get fooled by that, because fit, the very definition of fit is just simply to be able to function properly. It's not, I don't need to be ripped. And I used to go to the gym and try to, tone up, and I would, beat myself up over, doing the upper body workouts and things like that.
Right.
Until I learned over time that, what, I really don't need that. It's not necessary. Mm-hmm. And the only time that it would be okay for me to be like that would be if my occupation, my job, what I do, means that I have to, lift logs all day or something.
Right.
And then I would get that way naturally because of what I'm doing. But yeah, you gotta, so another part of that is being able to separate that desire that you're told you should have from what is reality, what is real for you.
Well, what I love is you're bringing up about men, because a lot of the industries are focused on women, but you're obviously a man, so you're hearing it from your perspective is really interesting to me. I was watching something today where a guy was, the ripped look you're talking about and everything,
Right.
and he's like testosterone killer, and all of these things, and I'm thinking to myself, okay. It's a little aggressive. It's a little coming at you. And for some people, that may really resonate for them.
Yeah.
That, I want to be all testosterone and all that stuff. But for someone that doesn't feel comfortable in that, or may want that, but they don't have they're not close to that physical image that's being portrayed, they could feel less than. And that part of it has nothing to do, again, with wellness. That is more of a vanity industry. And I can see where Rosamund Pike was talking about how it can be dangerous, but again, not the wellness, but the vanity industry pieces of it. That's where it's really looking at that marketing and how it's being presented. And as wellness advocates, wellness providers ourselves, we have the ability to kind of read between the lines, but someone else that's a consumer might not have that. And that's why we're bringing this to the forefront.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important
Absolutely.
that we make the distinction between that vanity industry and the wellness industry.
Mm-hmm.
And, that brings us to another thing that wellness is. Our third thing that we're going to be talking about today is self-awareness. How you treat yourself and how you feel about yourself and your mindset, that is paramount to your wellness, your self-awareness.
Absolutely it is. I know that, man, like I said, I was all about the vanity industry for a really long time. And then I started working on mindset. I started learning about reframing my thoughts. I started working with affirmations on a daily basis and a lot of meditative practices. And so, and ironically, where I used to do all the working out and like all this walking and heavy lifting, I actually moved into a yoga practice, which is very much about wellness, very much about mind. And when I do those practices as opposed to the heavy lifting, it's a different way that my body is moving and flowing. And I really enjoy it. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy weightlifting, but it's changed a little bit more toward the yoga because as I progress, because of the abuse that I put my body through over the years, I have to be aware of different things that my body does when I am in movement. So I want to preserve my joints as much as I can by not doing the hard, tough, aggressive movements on them. I love walking still. I do actually use weights, but I use a lighter weight now as opposed to the 25s and the 50s. I go lighter now. And so that part of it, but the yoga practice, like we talked about, the self-awareness, it definitely brings a self-awareness to my practice as far as my exercising piece.
Right. Yeah. And self-awareness is so very important to your wellness because sometimes, how you treat yourself, how you feel about yourself, your mindset, this is where many of us fall short. And what I mean by that is that sometimes for some of us, we don't want to feel the feels.
Right.
We don't want to look at ourselves in a raw way and really see what's going on. And the industries know that. The industries know that, well, there's a certain amount of people out there who don't want to accept certain things about themselves or about, what they choose to eat or what they choose to do. And so the industry knows that, and they play upon those desires, and they play upon those, sometimes it's fear, and
Absolutely.
they play upon the fact that sometimes people just don't want to feel the feels. But when you are self-aware and you are able to embrace the feelings, embrace who you are and what you are and where you are and what you're doing, then you become, you are empowered. It empowers you. You take control of your own destiny. You take control of your wellness and your healthcare and all of that through those feelings and through that introspect, through looking at yourself. And
Yes, I agree. Our clients that start with us, they start out thinking it's about, working out and, eating this, that, and the other. And it is definitely about emotions. It's about feelings because we are emotional beings. We do feel things. We feel things very deeply. And it's really getting in touch with those emotions that are so important to understand, well, where is it coming from? I have this emotion, but where is it actually coming from? What is that root cause that I feel this way? And again, the vanity industry, they don't deal with the root causes. They're only like saying, look like this, be like this, and you'll be this. But I did all of that, and I didn't feel that the promises that were made because I wasn't dealing with the emotional pieces. I wasn't dealing with the root cause. So knowing when I started dealing with that, I'm able to work on that with our clients and get to the root cause of what's really happening.
Yeah.
What is creating this narrative in their mind, so to speak,
Absolutely.
and what's playing out in their lives.
Yeah. And if you were to basically summarize what we just talked about with wellness, bioindividuality, each one of us is a unique individual.
Absolutely.
And wellness is about being in a position to thrive, not just surviving, but thriving. And it's about that self-awareness, right? Wouldn't you say, we keep each one of these things that we're talking about, each one of these, like if you want to call them topics, each one of those topics, really it all links to that individuality too, doesn't it?
100%.
Wouldn't you say that's probably the most important part about it?
I do, because and that's what I work with my clients, because not all of my clients are the same. They're all individuals. They're all unique. They're all different. And what one needs, the other one might not need.
Yeah.
So even in that and knowing that, absolutely, bioindividuality is the most important piece because it allows the client to actually be in control of their lives and make the best choices for them.
Yeah.
Instead of being told what to do, we go through figuring it out and discovering and learning what is actually best for the individual.
Yeah. And so I think that's where, if you look at all of the things that we talked about, that's where I think that the industry that we originally began with, the quote unquote wellness industry, is falling short. And that's why we call them the vanity industry.
Yes.
And it's because they're treating everyone, or maybe I should just say segments of the population, not everybody.
Right.
But they have segmented out their markets and they're treating everyone in that same bucket.
That's correct.
Because they want to sell their product as much as they can. But we are individuals, and that's where that concept just simply falls short. And that's why, Rosamund Pike had made that comment, because she is looking at it from that point of view. And from her point of view, I can understand it.
I can too.
But from being in the wellness industry, I can say that, that's really not the wellness industry.
No.
So there we go. When you feel like you're just a number in the segment of the wellness industry and like a marketing segment, like you're just a piece of a big marketing pie, when you feel like you're not being approached by the wellness industry, but you're being approached by the vanity industry, we invite you to come join us at Healthy Transformation Nation. And you can join us on our website at htnforyou.com. That's HTN, the number 4, the letter U.com, where you can join our community of like-minded individuals that are engaged in their own
Right.
wellness journey. And so we hope to see you there.